granddaddy of racing games is back. This is DJ Bob Fresh from SegaShiro.com, your Sega resource, and this is a video review of Daytona USA on Xbox Live Arcade and PSN. Originally released in arcades in 1993 by Sega's legendary AM2 development team, Daytona USA is largely considered one of the highest grossing arcade games of all time. It was one of the first games to feature filtered textured map polygons, and it ran at a blistering 60 frames per second. The Xbox Live and PlayStation Network version is faithful to that arcade tradition, and yet brings forward with true widescreen support and HD visuals. With force feedback steering wheel support, this is the closest you'll come to owning an arcade cabinet in your own home. Instead of going back to the Saturn or Dreamcast versions, Sega wisely went back to the arcade edition of the game and ported that version over. What we're left with is a game that looks, feels exactly like it did back in the day, back in 1993, except it has the visual punch of today. From a nostalgia point of view, Daytona USA looks like how you remember it, even though this version is light years ahead of the original arcade edition. However, Sega didn't just port over the arcade edition, they also brought over a bunch of improvements. One is this rewind feature, which you can use to fix a crack. However, if you're an old school gamer, you probably won't ever use it. And I call Daytona the granddaddy of racing games because in a very real way, the core mechanics of drafting and drifting are in all of Sega's racers today, and in fact have influenced the entire racing genre. As such, whether using the controller or the force feedback wheels, the controls are exceptionally tight. However, using the Xbox 360 wheel, I had to crank up the force feedback when compared to the PlayStation wheel. The PSN version also comes included with an extra theme, which is kind of nice. Sega hasn't given us just a straight arcade port, they've also included a lot of additional content. 30 new challenge modes with demo videos that will actually show you how to get the most out of the game and most out of the gameplay. There's also a karaoke mode because the music in Daytona is so good, so catchy, that I dare you to play it without singing along. And along with karaoke mode, they also included an arranged soundtrack. The only real problem I had with Daytona USA is that the arcade mode doesn't have an easy reset button. If you screw up on the first turn, you can't easily go back and just start again. However, to its credit, the game does have a variety of difficulty settings, and you can mirror and reverse all of the tracks, which takes those 3 legendary tracks and gives you more options with them. The 8-player multiplayer support is a ton of fun and completes the arcade feeling of the game. There is also a time trial and a survivor mode, and both of these are a lot of fun and have their own leaderboards and rankings. Survival mode deserves a shout out as you're constantly losing grip as you're racing around the track trying to collect as many kilometers as you can. In this mode, performing drifts and not braking will actually earn you more time, and it's just a race until the end. Other games may be more visually stunning, but Daytona USA has a certain Sega quality about it that just runs right through the title. It would have been nice to see some of the music from the Sega Saturn version come over, as well as some of the extra tracks and extra cars, but the force feedback alone makes it worth the $10. If you're a Daytona fan, this is the game you've been waiting for, the version you've been waiting for, in the sense that it brings that full arcade feeling intact and in your home.